Shalom, shalom, each and every one of y'all on this Shabbat Saturday. Well, right back at you with another one. I told you I was going to do it, right? And we're about to do some things and just get into it a little bit. Repetition a little bit. Talk about this thing called tithing. Shout out to my brother who I study with, Brother Yerushalayim. King's doing amazing things. So, grab your shoulder pads and your helmet and walk with your boy into the end zone. Peep this out. The tithing deception. Let's get it.
And if it be the Most High's will, he may open up your eyes, ears, and your spirit that you may receive the information that's getting ready to be brought forth. The information that's getting ready to be brought forth is something that 99% of the Christian pastors did not want you to ever find out.
Let's get it.
All the top echelon in the Christian organization never wanted you to get hold of this information regarding tithes. They never wanted you to get a hold of this information, and they're preying off your ignorance. The tithing deception and what the Christian church deems as tithes is the biggest fraudulent activity that's being committed right now. The Christian church has turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry off of the ignorance of the masses. That's essentially what has happened through the tithing lie. So what you're going to find out in this video is what tithing actually is according to the Bible, and it's going to find out it has nothing to do with money. 2, you're going to find out who the tithe was actually for, not the Christian pastor. And you're going to find out what the tithe was for. And it's not for setting up European white supremacy Christian organizations in people of color's neighborhood. Yeah, I said it. Let me say it again. It's not for setting up more Christian organizations pushing a white supremacy doctrine on people of color, teaching them about a white God and a white Jesus and white angels, and everyone in the whole entire Bible is white, because that's essentially what the Christian doctrine subliminally does. Yes, they do on all the movies. It has nothing to do with being racism, being racist. That's just what it is.
So and basically what he's breaking down is there's been a lot of cases where, a lot of people have been deceived, and we have to pay attention to that. Because if you are not studying your Torah, and you continue to listen to man deceive you, it's not going to register. See, all along we were taught to follow, follow what has been put out there. Follow traditions, follow those traditions. Well, it's time to stop following traditions and start having an understanding and start asking questions. Not enough people ask questions. Let's continue.
I'm going to point it out. That's just what it is. This ain't the Christian church. I'm not bound by trying to caress anyone's feelings. I'm going to say it how it is. Has nothing to do with racism at all. So that's what you're going to find out in this message. I'm Brother Yerushalayim. This is the Bible Unlocked, the tithing deception. Revelation 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. You're going to find out that Satan is at it again. Yes, Satan has his hand in the cookie jar. Satan is responsible for deceiving the entire world via the Christian church. That's the primary channel that he's using to deceive the whole world. And guess what? You that's funding and tithing to the Christian church, you're the one responsible for funding this prophecy to come to pass via your tithing money, so-called tithing money, because tithing in the Bible is not money. It's nothing monetary. You're the one responsible for doing this. So you can give yourself a round of applause. Those good old Christians out there that have funded Satan's agenda.
And they get you every time. They get you every freaking time. What they do is that most people will play off of what you don't know. And again, that's why it is so important that we read our word, that we study, that we stay prayed up, that we ask those hard questions. If you don't know something, it's okay to ask those questions. Research those answers. Do whatever it is that you do in order to get to where you need to go spiritually. Because it's a shame that you got individuals standing behind a pulpit but lying to you. Straight up lying to you, especially about tithing. We're going to break this thing down. Let's get this work.
And it says Satan deceived the entire world. The Christian church, I say this every single deception video, the Christian church is still looking for this guy to come. You're still looking for this major deception to come when it's talking about you. Starting with the Roman Catholic Church in the 3rd century all the way to today. All the way to today. That's the deception that it's talking about. So you're going to be looking a long time for some other deception to come when the deception is already here. It's look, you go to church on Sunday and you want to see and you'll see this prophecy right here being fulfilled. Go to your local church on Sunday or get on YouTube and look at any modern Christian video, and that's this prophecy being fulfilled right there. Here's an analogy. It's like someone who, say you have a pair of glasses and you can't find these glasses. You're looking all over the place for these glasses. You're looking all under the couch. You're looking on top of the refrigerator. I mean, you're looking at all type of places to find out where these glasses are at. You're looking in all the most difficult places to see if you place those glasses there. All of that work you've done just to come into the bathroom and look in the mirror and find out the glasses right on top of your head. It's the same thing with the Christian church. You're looking all over the place for Satan. You're looking in the most difficult places to try to find Satan. When all you need to do is go into the Christian church on your little Sunday that you go worship on, and you're going to find Satan right there, staring right at you every Sunday, laughing, giggling, joking all in your face. That's where he's at right there.
And it's the one standing behind a pulpit, condemning you, judging you, lying to your face, telling you this is what is, and it's really not. Everything that they're telling you has nothing to do with spiritual relationship. But this is where they get you. That's why you have to be careful of where you go to do your praise and worship. To be honest with you, sometimes it's best to sit by yourself with the Most High. If you really look at it and translate it, when Yeshua has dealt with people, they were always alone. They're always by themselves. Have you ever paid attention to that? They were always by themselves, or they went somewhere to go be alone to worship. Some of the disciples didn't do it publicly, freely, openly. They went somewhere in private where they can be alone. Peep game.
You don't need to look hard to find Satan. That's what makes him so effective, is that you looking in all the difficult places and he's standing right next to you, squeezed right up next to you, tight with you. He's sleeping in the bed with you. He's waking up having breakfast with you. He's having your little Sunday dinner with you. Satan deceived the whole world. Now, let's get into the subject of tithing. Let's find out what tithing is according to the Bible, what biblical tithing is before Satan came via the Christian church and deceived the entire world. Leviticus 27, verse 30. And all the tithe of the land whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's. It is holy unto the Lord. So the tithe, according to the Bible, is of the seed of the land and the fruit of the trees. You're going to find out that tithing in the Bible is only food. It's only going to be dealing with foods. The tithe of the seed and the tithe of the fruit. This is the first understanding on what tithing is. There's more. Let's get some more. And if a man will at all redeem aught of his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the 10th shall be holy unto the Lord. So a 10th part of the herd and the flock. This is the meat. The first one that we talked about, the fruits and the seed of the ground, that's dealing with the vegetables.
He's breaking it down. When it comes to tithing, it had nothing to do with money, but much to do with food and your time. Now, does the light bulb come on? Now does it click? Now does it make sense? When you go to these modern, churches for worship and things of that nature, you know, they take up the collection plate or the tithing in your offering. You are to be not only a good steward, but a cheerful giver. Give to the church. The Holy Spirit put it in me to give to that homeless man down the street at the liquor store. I took out a couple of bucks, I prayed over it, and I gave it to him. Here's an offering. We are the church. So I gave to the church, I gave to the body, I gave to a person that was in need. But a large number of these preachers won't tell you that. No, give to the church, give to the facility, give to the place of where you're worshiping at. I didn't get that. I didn't get that from the Spirit. The Holy Spirit told me to give to this individual. And so I did. Peep game.
Now it's the herd and the flock. Now it's dealing with the meat. Tithing is food according to the Bible. All throughout the scriptures, what we're going to find out in this message, that it's going to have nothing to do with money. All of it has to do with food. So now we have the tithe of the fruits and vegetables and of the meats now. Now you give a 10% of that. Let's go precept upon precept like the Bible commands us to do, and let's get a more well-documented explanation on what tithing is. Deuteronomy 14, verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth year by year. This is exactly what we just read. Now in Deuteronomy, it's giving you another count. All the increase that the field bring forth year by year. This is talking about food, not money. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name. And you're supposed to take that food, you can't do this with money, and eat in the place that the Most High has chosen. Now the Christian church, they're slick. They're trying to tell you, well, God chose the Christian church right up the street. No, let's find out, according to the Bible, what is the place, or where is the place that the Most High chose to place his name?
Now, peep game, because, again, when we deliver this word, we're always going to go precept upon precept, have scripture to back up what we're talking about. Again, these are a lot of things that a large number of churches, preachers, whoever, don't share with you, don't want you to know, not willing to give a breakdown and be straightforward and honest with it. Let's continue.
2 Chronicles 6, verse 6. But I have chosen Jerusalem that my name might be there, and have chosen David to be over my people Israel. So the Most High chose Jerusalem, which is in the land of Israel, not your local neighborhood Christian church. He chose Jerusalem to place his name there. So what the instructions thus far in this first set of tithing is to take the increase of the land, and it's referring to the flocks as well, and you're supposed to take it to where the place where the Most High has chose to place his name. So you take those tithes, 10% of your increase, and you bring it to Jerusalem. This is tithing according to the Bible. Then you take it and bring it to Jerusalem. The tithe of corn, of the wine, and of thine oil, and of the firstlings of thy herds, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. This didn't have anything to do with Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, or anybody else, or any other monetary system. You take the wine, the corn, the herd, you bring all that to Jerusalem, and that's where you're supposed to eat and enjoy the tithe. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there. So there's a dilemma. So if there's a dilemma that arises, and you have too much of the tithe, say you have like 1,000, your 10% for the year was like 1,000 sheep, 1,000 oxen. You just got too much. You got 100 pounds of tomatoes. You got too much increase to bring to the place where the Most High chose, Jerusalem. Or if it's too far, say you're somewhere else on a long journey and it's just too far for you to bring all this food to Jerusalem, that's what this is going into. Here's the instructions that you're supposed to do. When the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money. Then you take all the increase of the flocks, of the fruit, and of the vegetables. You take all the increase because it was too much for you to bring up there. Maybe you didn't have enough camels to support the trip. It's too much of it. So now you take it and put it in and turn it into money. This is the only time you're going to hear about money and tithing together in the same.
Pay attention. So now we have an understanding and overstanding. Now we're kind of getting it. Now it's kind of making sense. When you've had too much and you have enough, so much left over, then you turn that profit or you turn that into money and store it.
A subject. This is it. You're gonna take the increase. You're gonna bind it and turn it into money. But you're gonna sell all your stuff and you're gonna exchange it for money. Now watch this. And bind up the money in thine hand, and shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. Then you take that money that you just exchanged for your goods. You take it and then you make the trip to Jerusalem. Let's find out for what. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Then you're supposed to bestow that money, meaning you're going to exchange it again for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. And the whatsoever, it's about to explain what that's talking about. The whatsoever is about to explain it right now. For oxen, for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desires. The whatsoever thy soul lusteth after was referring to the tithe. The food, the herbs.
It goes back. It goes back to the food. So we exchange for money to buy more food. You see? And whatever your favorite food consists of, including herbs and spices. So at the end of the day, you tithe with food. When you have more than enough left over, you take what is left over in exchange for money. to buy more food. Does it make sense? Have I lost you? You still here? All right, let's continue.
The vegetables, the fruits, that's what it was referring to. It ain't talking about anything you want to buy. It ain't telling you to go out and whatsoever, I want to go out and buy a prostitute or weed and crack. It ain't talking about that. It's talking about whatsoever of the tithe, the oxen, the fruits, the vegetables, the oil, the corn, and thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household. And you're supposed to get that food that you have just purchased with your money, and you're supposed to eat that tithe with you and your household.
Yeah, breaking bread with your household. And be of good cheer. Be happy. Rejoice. So everything that is being explained thus far, how come these pastors ain't preaching it? How come a large number of these pastors ain't teaching it? They talk about the truth, deliver the truth. Why not tell the truth about tithing? So that individuals can have a clear overstanding of what it means. Instead of you making them feel guilty for not putting money in that collection plate and it goes to you.
Letting you know that one of the tithes is for you. That's what one of the tithes is for. One of the tithes of the increase of your land you're supposed to enjoy. You and your family is supposed to get together at Jerusalem and enjoy this tithe. Now, we can't get together in Jerusalem now. No one can do that now and enjoy the tithe. You can't keep the tithe according to the Bible. But this is how it was done in the biblical times. Let's get some more. And the Levites that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part, no inheritance with thee. The tithe also was for the Levites, who come from the seed of Levi, of the 12 tribes of Israel. The Levite didn't have any inheritance in the land. So the Levites were dispersed throughout all the rest of the 11 tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived within the gates of each tribe. So you had to take care of the Levite. The Levite was one of the ones who got his portion with the tithe.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't forsake the Levite. That's who the tithe was for as well. Yourself and the Levite, not the Christian pastor. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of the increase the same year. Now we're going into a different type of tithe. At the end of the 3rd year, which is the year of tithing, you bring forth all the increase of the land. It's the same thing. We're still dealing with food, not money. We're still dealing with food.
Have I lost you yet? You still there? So now we have an understanding, an overstanding. When it came to tithing, it was never about money. It was about food and your time. Again, how come a large number of these preachers ain't talking about that? Riddle me that, Batman. How come they're not talking about that? Why do they make you feel less than when you don't give? I gave you an illustration before. I give it to you again. Yahshua put it in my heart to give to that man at the corner store. I took out a couple of bucks, I prayed over it, and I gave it to him. Oh, be of a good cheer forgiver to the church. We are the church. That man is the church. Here's my offering to give to someone in need. But a large number of preachers won't tell you that. They tell you that's wrong. No, if you're going to stand up there behind that pulpit, tell the truth. Stop lying to the people about tithing. And that's why I had to go on ahead and break this thing down and give it to you straight, raw, and uncut, so that you will have a better overstanding about tithing and offering and what it really means, and that it had nothing to do with money. The only time it did have something to do with money is when, like brother said, you've had enough and you took your leftover in exchange for money to buy more food to enjoy. It all circles back around to food, herbs, and spending time with the Most High. Let's continue.
Food, fruits and vegetables, herbs, spices, oils. You bring forth the 10th part of the increase of the 3rd year. We're in a different set of tithing now, and shall lay it up within thy gates. But the difference between this tithe is you don't go to Jerusalem. You stay within your gates for this tithe.
Now, another thing, when they talk about the 10%, now a lot of these churches, 10% of your income, 10% of the money you've made. No, it's the 10% of cattle, the 10% of food. Because tithing has nothing to do with money. It has a lot to do with food. Now it's making sense to you. You see how a large number of these preachers will deceive you. It's like, wait a minute. You will know if something resonates and sit well within your spirit, or it doesn't sit well within your spirit. You have the right to ask questions. You have the right to do your research. Even Yeshua said it in his word once again. Stop listening to man and listen to the Torah. Listen to what I tell you, not what they tell you, because what they tell you is false. What I tell you is real. Here, let me show you. Everything you need to know is right there in your playbook. All you got to do is pick it up and study it.
You stay within your gates. This one, you don't have to go to Jerusalem and eat there and have a feast there. You stay right at home. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the Levite, once again, he gets his portion because they didn't get any inheritance. The Most High was their inheritance. The Levite, he gets his, and the stranger, the Gentile that was amongst us, that came with us out of the land of Egypt, had children that were still there. The ones that were poor, they got their portion. They were taken care of. And the fatherless, the people that didn't have any fathers, because the father, all the way in the days of old, were the breadwinners. They're the ones who brought in the bread and provided for the family. The fatherless, which encompasses 90 or 50% of the Christian church, people that's in there that don't have fathers. The tithe was supposed to go to you. You're part of the ones who receive part of this tithe. And the widow, the people that don't have, the women that don't have a husband to provide for them, the widows, which make up another 50% of the Christian church.
How come they're not talking about this? How come a large number of preachers ain't pushing this? What's going on? What's really hood with it? Again, that's one of the things that really, really triggers me, stirs my grits. It's when you wear the robe. You're hooping and hollering and screaming. Speaking in tongues, but lying to the people. How come you're not talking about this? How come you're not teaching this? How come you're not sharing this? This is for the people to know. You got people out there that's going through real life obstacles, that's going through real struggles, going through some real times. but you want to take advantage of their pockets. Just like the salvation people. Oh yeah, yeah. Y'all seen them. The ones with the salvation bucket with the bell. Having you thinking you giving money to a good cause. Yeah, you giving money to a good cause, all right. That money going in their pockets. You got some crooks out there. And if you're going to be a cheerful giver, be led by the Spirit. Be led by your Abba Father to lead you to give. Don't do it on your own. I'm not going to give to someone that has an addiction, because that's feeding into that individual's addiction. But if the Ruach Kokodesh, the Holy Spirit, puts it in me to give to an individual that is suffering, that is in need, that doesn't have, okay, I'm going to give, because I'm told to give to that individual. Can't give to everybody.
Old women in there that don't have husbands, the tithe was supposed to go to you. If we're doing tithes correctly, according to the Bible, the tithe went to you, not the Christian pastor. Which are within thy gates shall come and shall eat and be satisfied.
But all that money sure does go to them pastors, though, don't they? They go to them. They sure do go to them pastors, especially when they come around for a third time. The Spirit of God told me to tell everyone to if you sow a seed of $100, your blessings will multiply on top of blessings, and a big financial blessing is coming to you if you just sow a seed of $100. I need 10 people to sow a seed of $100. Really? Really? But again, a large number of these preachers have a large number of individuals shook. And you wonder why they don't go to service, attend service anymore. You get tired of traditional service, especially when you are trying to build your relationship with the Most High Yahshua. Even he said, once again, I'll recap what I said earlier. Anytime he has dealt with his people, he's dealt with them and they were alone. Or they got by themselves. They worshiped in private. For the most part, a large number of worshiping wasn't done so openly. A large number, for and I say half and half. But the disciples, they did things in private. They got by themselves. They got alone. Away from everything. Away from everyone. Sometimes it's best to do your worshiping by yourself. Pray by yourself. Worship by yourself. Study by yourself. Anything that has something to do with your spiritual relationship with the Most High, sometimes it's best to be done in private by yourself, where he can hear you.
Every one of those that was named comes to eat, and be satisfied. Not grab $100 bills, $200 bills, $300 bills, $1,000 bills, not coming and grab money. You don't have your hand in a pot of gold grabbing money. People just grab all their 10% and putting money in a basket for everyone to come stick their hand in and grab. That's not what the tithe is in the Bible. That's not tithing. That's not tithing. So now we have a requirement in order to receive tithes. One, it had to be you had to be a Levite doing the work of the Most High. Not a spiritual Levite, not a spiritual priest, a Levite from the sons of Levi. of the 12 tribes of Israel in order to receive the tithes.
Tell it.
That's what you had to be. From the point of Moses all the way on forward. That's what you had to be. That the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest. And the reason why you're supposed to give the tithe is so the Most High will bless you in all the work of your hand. Meaning, he's going to increase the flocks. He'll increase the fruits of your land.
Anything that you do or any place you go, he gives increase. He will increase that. I'm going to give it to you again. The work that you've done, where you go, what you do, he will give increase. Because when you did give, you gave with your heart. You don't give out of tradition or because somebody else is doing it. You gave, it came from your heart. Yeshua looks at your heart. Anything that you do. That's why people say, big truck, you going over here, you moving over there. It doesn't matter where I go or what I do. I'm going to be good. Because I have a relationship, a spiritual. It's not about religion. It's about spiritual relationship. And I walk in my anointing. I am king. I receive that. The moment you begin to see, receive, and apply, bet.
He'll increase the vegetables. If you're tithing and giving your 10% and providing for those that are needy, he would increase your land. He would increase all the vegetables and the food that you're able to have.
For those watching, please hit the like button so I know you feeling it. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share this video. We're going all the way. Trust me, I got more coming.
That's the blessing it was talking about. Not getting you a bigger home, a boat, a jet, giving you $1 million paycheck. That's not the blessing it was talking about. The blessing, he would bless you, so in turn, you would be able to help the other ones that were needy around your gates and provide for the other people and take care of the Levites who did the work of the sanctuary. That's what the tithing was for, to take care of your own people. Take care of those that were around you. It wasn't to go out and go buy a new Mercedes-Benz. Give the pastor 10% so he can go out and buy a multi-million-dollar home. That's not what the tithing was for, ladies and gentlemen. That's not tithing according to the Bible. That's fraudulent behavior and fraudulent activity and robbery. That's what that is. Nehemiah 10, verse 36. Also, the firstborn of our sons and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstlings of our herds and of our flocks, to bring to the house of God unto the priests that minister in the house of God. The tithes of the firstlings, or the tithes of the fruit, the vegetables, all those foods go to the priests or the Levites. That's who the priests were, the Levites. That's who the tithe went to. And that we should bring the first fruits of our dough and of our offerings, and of the fruit of all manner of trees, of wine, and of oil, unto the priest, to the chambers of the house of our God.
So he's telling you what you should do, what you should bring, and how it's being presented to the priest, to the sanctuary, the place of worship, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm taking the foods, I'm taking the herbs, I'm taking the spices, I'm taking the oils, and I'm presenting them. I'm coming to the altar with them. You see? Because the Most High sees that I'm a cheerful giver. And I'm presenting the right foods. And he sees that it is good. It's not tainted. It's not spoiled or rotten. It is good. Because you have some people that will tithe and will give bad things, bad fruits, bad foods, bad meats, and so forth. And they think the Most High ain't going to call that. Thinking the Most High ain't going to see that. That's why he loves those that give from their heart.
Don't sound like money to me. It doesn't sound like tithing was money to me. It sounds like a bunch of fruits, vegetables, and meat. Like something that someone can actually use. What good is a dollar bill if you got your stomach growling?
Come on now.
You in the middle of nowhere. What good is someone handing you a dollar bill? No, the people need food. That's what they needed. They needed something to nourish themselves. And the tithes of our ground unto the Levites, that the same Levites might have the tithes in all the cities of our tillage. And the Levites were taken care of, just like the law says, like we already read. The Levites were taken care of. They didn't have to worry about food. That was taken care of because all of the people that were working that had fields and owned pastures, they all provided for the Levites and gave them food. They all gave to the fatherless, the widows, and the strangers. All the poor of the land and make more money off of them. So that those good animals were supposed to go to the Most High to feed the people, and we were taking them and feeding ourselves. That's how we were robbing the Most High, not by not paying 10% in gold and in shekels and talents.
You give, like I said before, you give the Most High the rotten foods, the spoiled foods, and you keep the good foods for yourself. When you're supposed to give the good foods to the Most High. It's simple. Textbook simple. You rob the Most High when you don't give him the fresh fruits and meats and so forth that he deserves. But you want to try and cheat the Most High and give him the fake rotten stuff, the bad stuff. Like he ain't going to see that. Like he ain't going to catch it. But yet, these preachers will tell you you're robbing God when you don't give 10% of your earnings. You don't give 10% of your pay. Like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not right. That don't sound right.
That's not what it's talking about. But cursed be the deceiver which hath in his flock a male, and voweth and sacrificeth unto the Lord a corrupt thing. Cursed be the deceiver that has a male, and a male meaning a male in good health, and you saying that, oh, I don't have any good, this is the best I have right here. And you go and bring the priest a lame or a sick animal, but you have you done held or withheld all the good animals to yourself.
Thank you.
He says, cursed be the man that does that. You sacrificing these corrupt, lame, and sick animals, and you holding all the good ones for yourself. That's how we rob the Most High. That's how we rob the most. That's what it's talking about in Malachi 3, verse 8.
But they are not talking about that. Them preachers will sit up there behind their pulpit and tell you robbing God because you ain't giving 10% of your money. And we just heard had nothing to do with money, but food. You keeping the good food for yourself, but you sacrificing the bad food and thinking God ain't gonna catch it. Preachers need to start telling the truth, man. But not only holding a large number of preachers accountable, but I'm also holding a large number of church goers, service goers accountable. You're not studying your playbook. You listening to them and not studying your playbook. When Yeshua clearly told you, stop listening to man, stop following the ways of what man say. Follow and listen to what I say. Because I speak the truth. The word is the truth. The word will never deceive you. Yeshua will never deceive you. Man will. Well, a large number of preachers are doing it. And they're doing a good job of it because you're not calling them out on it. I'm not saying go into a full-blown debate. No. But if something doesn't sit well within you, you have the right to ask questions.
Robbing the Most High in tithes and offerings, not giving him the best of the flock and giving him these tore down animals, these animals that look like they've been hit by buses and look like they've been ran over by elephants.
Hit by a truck.
What I'm talking about. You giving the Most High that and not the best of the flock. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meats in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive. And the Most High would give blessings out once we gave the tithes correctly. That's when he would give the blessing out. And we're going to find out what the blessing is that he's going to give out. But if we stop giving him all this corruptible meats and offerings and give him the best of the flock, then he would open up the window of heaven to pour out blessings. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts. And the blessing is the Most High would rebuke the devourer, the spirit that goes out into the locusts and all the other plants that go out and tear up crops. The Most High would rebuke those the spirit on those insects, so they would leave your crops alone and go tear up somebody else's crops. Someone who is not paying tithes. You know, if you know farmers, there's the pest and all that. That's a major problem when it comes to crops. The pest and the locust will tear up your entire crop.
Sure will.
And have you having seasons without any increase. The Most High would rebuke those, and you would be able to enjoy the entire increase of the field without worrying about the devourer coming and tearing up your crops.
So if you do what is acceptable to the Most High and pleasing to the Most High, he will bless your situation. He will bless you where you stand. You will have increase no matter where you go or what you do. There will be increase in your life. You see? Because you've taken care of him. You've been obedient to what he's asking of you. Most individuals are not obedient, but they want, or they take. Find out what is acceptable to the Lord, to Yeshua. What is acceptable to him? Then give that of what he's asking for. Be that of what he needs you to be. So if he's talking about tithing and offerings, now you know it's not about money. It's about food and your time, spending with him. It's never been about giving money. So when you go sit up there and you go to service on Sunday mornings, because a large number of y'all in that Christianity tradition, and they talk about the tithing and offerings, now you have a better understanding, overstanding. Let's continue.
That's the blessing it's talking about. It's not talking about sowing a seed like this is the Christian church. They always want to make you believe that it's talking about sowing a seed, $100 seed, and then bam, next thing you know, a year later, you in $1 million mansion. That's not what the tithe is talking about. That's not what the blessing is talking about. And sowing a seed in the Bible has nothing to do with giving money. That's another deception. Sowing seed in the Bible is talking about sowing the word into someone's spirit. The seed represents the word, not a $100 bill or Benjamin Franklin or George Washington.
So their soul can be saved. So whatever it is that they're going through, prayers help. Believe it or not. I do believe in prayer. I do believe in praying for others. I do believe on praying, covering others. Because you don't never know what a person could be going through. You don't never know what a person is about to go through. You don't never know what a person's coming out of. But when you take time to pray for others, it's amazing the benefit, the blessings that come from praying for others.
That's not what it's talking about. I'm telling you, Satan he's got his hand all in the Christian doctrine. And your responsibility is to learn for yourself and come out of the Christian doctrine. Or else you...
That's why he said, come out of her. Come out of tradition. Come out of the things that had you brainwashed. You don't even know why you go to church on Sunday mornings. The Shabbat, Saturdays is really supposed to be your days of worship. But can I be honest with you? Every day should be your time of worship with the Most High. Not just Saturdays, not just on Sundays. Every day, daily, should be that time you should have alone with the Most High. Or if you with your significant other, both of you can sit down and rap a taste or two over some studying and prayer. Come on, man. Don't play with me. You're talking to a person that studies.
You will die in the Christian doctrine. Matthew 23, verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin. Now we're in the New Testament and it still hasn't changed. Tithing is still food. These are all herbs right now that Christ is naming. He's getting on the scribes and Pharisees because they were paying tithes, but it's something that they weren't doing. And have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. So they were doing the tithing, but they were omitting the weightier matters of the law, letting you know that Christ was not preaching against the law. Mercy, grace, faith, all that is part of the law for the Christian church out there. And Christ was not teaching against the law. He says, these ought ye to have done, meaning, yeah, you were supposed to pay your tithes, which is food, but you were also supposed to do the mercy and the grace as well, and faith as well.
You're supposed to do everything else, not just do one and not the other. Don't that ring a bell? Don't that ring a bell? Translation. You got some people that would do one thing, but not do everything. But not do. They do everything else that they are supposed to do, but neglect what you're really supposed to do. You can flip it in so many ways. You do everything what you're not supposed to do, but what about what you're supposed to do? You don't do that? Again, it can get flipped in so many ways and go in so many directions. No, you're supposed to do everything, not one and not the other.
You're also supposed to do those things as well. So even in the New Testament, tithing is still food. It didn't change. And now that the tithing doctrine is backed into a corner, if you're breaking down all the scriptures to your pastor or something, and you got him in a corner, he gonna try to come out and tell you, well, that was back then. Nowadays, since we don't have any farms and we don't have any vegetables, now we got to give money. You say, nuh-uh. The Bible says, this is what the Most High said, Deuteronomy 12, verse 32. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it.
If he's asking you, the Most High is asking you to do something, do it. But again, you got a large number of these wicked, greedy, scamming preachers out there. No, that's the Old Testament. We're not supposed to do that. We don't follow that. Well, it says in the Old Testament and the New Testament. But you sitting there behind that pulpit telling us that we need to trust God. We need to trust the Most High. Well, I'm trusting in the Most High and what Deuteronomy says. I'm trusting in His word. This is what He said in His word. Follow what I tell you. Don't take away nor add. And a large number of these preachers are doing just that, adding and taking away, especially to fit their own narrative. That's wrong.
It says not to add or to take away from the commandments. So if the scriptures say that tithing is food, guess what, ladies and gentlemen?
It's food.
Tithing is food. You can't add and put your own spin and twist and jump and flips on it. You can't do that. That's why the law is here to protect you. That's why you must read and understand the law, because you can't add or take away from it.
And with that being said, as we close, study your playbook. You got to study your playbook. I got more coming. Go on ahead, take this day, go be great. Be the best version of yourself so that many people can see you for who you are. Go out there and live your best life. It's your boy.